What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look at a title called Blightstone. This is one of those games that it doesn't look like much on its Steam page, but once you start fiddling around with it, you start to realize there's a lot of love inside of this title. Like, somebody really liked this game when they were working on it, and if I had to describe it to you, it is a grimdark tactical RPG where you are the last fellowship going out to see if you can strike a blow at the Sauron of this universe before the entire world falls into darkness. It is a roguelite, and it does have roguelite elements. In fact, very, very heavy roguelite elements. It kind of reminds me of the last spell in that regard, where I would guess with an unaugmented party without any metagame, you could probably make it like halfway through the second map, but you're not going to make it too much further because the roguelite elements in this game make your party way stronger from what I've seen. But today we're going to take a look at it. It's a gorgeous game that's got utterly fantastic artwork. Everything seems to be put together really well here. There's lots of storyline exposition. There's lots of little conversations and dialogues between the characters that help you get to know them and the world that you're inside of. And that's kind of a rarity in the world of roguelite. Usually roguelites follow sort of a good enough is good enough blueprint. This game, they went to that extra effort to add all those little extra bells and whistles. So today we're going to take a look at it for about 30 minutes. We're going to see if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list, or if it's one of those games you would rather pass on. That's perfectly fine as well as an option. The link is down below. This game does have a demo publicly available. The game will be going into early access very shortly. In fact, I think the day that this video goes live. I've played it for about 3 hours, and I think it's definitely pretty fun, but you can also find Nerd Castle links down there just in case you wanted to give them the old spicy click. But let's dive on into it. So at the beginning of your run, there's going to be like dialogue and exposition. You are adventurers under the employ of a chronomancer who's trying to do the Doctor Strange thing, and he's trying to find that one combination of actions and heroes that will stop the apocalypse from happening. Fairly tropey type stuff, but anyways, I'm going to skip through that real fast. So at the beginning of the game, you've got to pick 3 adventurers that you want to take on your quest. I think there's going to be quite a few more adventurers, but I've only found one in the 3 hours that I was playing. Every now and again, the procedurally generated map that you navigate will give you a different icon if there's a recruitment chance, and you usually have to do like a mini boss battle that's pretty tough, and then you unlock them. They all have different skills, they all do different things, and they all play differently. Each of these guys are kind of like a piece of the whole of your party, and so you've got wizards, you've got warriors, you've got archers, you've got different brands of wizards, and looking at this map right here, it looks like there's designated spots a lot of the time for where all these adventurers can go. I don't know if I can like dismiss these dudes, but they fill in these little spots with carpets, so I'm assuming there's going to be quite a few characters inside of this game that you get to pick from. But like I said, 3 hours and I haven't seen it yet. Along your quest, you're going to accumulate various metagame elements that are going to allow you to... Hey, I already unlocked that. I guess it didn't save. You're going to unlock various metagame elements. So you're going to collect crystals, and you're going to collect strands of time. These are going to allow you to buff up your efforts and get stronger after your run, and the buffs are pretty considerable in this game. We're talking like your characters can move 50% further when they take the move action. Your character now just flatly deals 30% more damage. They are major upgrades that will enable you to go further on into the game. Some people don't like roguelites that are hard-coded like that, where there's sort of brick walls you're going to hit until you hit certain levels of progression, but other people do because it gives you something to shoot for and something to get excited about. I guess it just kind of depends on the perspective. But inside of here, you've got 2 different ways that you can progress through the game. You've got a talent tree for your crystal. The entire point of this game is that you're taking the crystal to the Sauron guy to wipe him out, and you've got to protect the crystal. So this entire game is an escort mission. But that having been said, your crystal can be spec'd in 3 different ways. It can be a warrior crystal, it can be a healer crystal, or it can be like a supplementary buff crystal, and it's up to you which one you want to run. These are fully respecable no matter what you do, and so definitely take a look at all the trees and pick the one that suits your personal playstyle. I'll probably go with Healer Crystal this time around. That sounds pretty good because this gives me 50% more movement, and I found that navigating around the map is actually the hard part. You also have these strands of time. This is another chronomancer that knows the chronomancer that you're working for that's decided to aid your quest by allowing you to buy boons out of time. They'll do all kinds of stuff, like they'll give you revives when you die. They'll unlock the ability to get reinforcements because when your characters die in this game, they're gone permanently. They'll increase the amount of items you get to pick from when you get a quest reward, stuff like that. But without talking too much more, let me arrange sort of my loadout here. We'll put the dog in the middle. We're going to go maximum dog protection right now, because if there's one thing I know, it's probably that the dog is the purest of heart out of everybody here. At the beginning of the game, we've got to pick an ability for our crystal. That's right, your crystal is a full-fledged party member that levels up and whatnot too, although it can't move or do anything. It'll accumulate like spells that it can cast on the party and on the enemy. I'll probably go with... Let's go with the lightning arrow, just because I like having a way to execute enemies. And then, of course, it's going to bring us into your standard fare roguelite map that you've seen in every other title since Slay the Spire. Or I guess FTL is probably to blame for this one. I call these wireframe maps. And the iconography is exactly what you would expect. But this game does have a twist. There are things in between each of these little paths, and you don't know what they are unless you take certain actions in quests or certain actions at your campsite, because this game runs on a day-to-day schedule. So as we go through these, you'll see the sun go up and go down, and every single day we get a rest period where you can choose to scout and figure out where things are at. Very Darkest Dungeon influenced, but let's take our first fight. Well, looks like this will be boring. No time for jokes. Let's fight. So this game has a pretty simple mechanism for how it functions. You'll see a number of points listed above the characters' heads. Greens are standard actions. The stars are extra actions, so basically free actions. They are very diverse. Our characters are all at level 1 right now, so they don't really have a ton of variety. But as you get further on into your run, they will. They will become the turns will be very robust in terms of what you can do. By the time you get like midway through the second map, your characters will build out in very different ways, because the skills you get offered on each run are completely and totally randomized. For right now, though, this guy's going to charge. Now, you got to know the iconography in this game. It does have a little bit of, like, for the warp inside of it. So this enemy is going to charge, and he's going to do it after one action right here. At the beginning of the game, that doesn't leave us with a whole lot of things that we can do to stop this, but there is one thing we can do. I can throw a booby trap right there. And so he's going to get stopped by the booby trap, and that's going to cancel his turn entirely. We still kind of have to worry about the other boar, but this game has a lot in common with something like Kingdom Death Monster, where enemies have their turn, but they also have reactions to stuff that you do that you need to be aware of in like building out your knowledge of the game. And so stuff to keep in mind. He can move pretty far on his turn, but I don't know if I want to. He can get there and he can punch that boar in the face, but it might be a better idea to kind of drop a little bit of damage over here to maybe secure a kill before we go too much further. He's got his lightning bolt right there, so we'll launch that on out, and then we're going to see if his charge will actually kill that boar. It will if we actually pinball him into that other boar. We don't get a stun or anything out of that, but it does give us a nice little bit of supplementary damage that makes life a little bit easier. I'm going to put the dog right there to act as a baffle in case he tries to charge the crystal. Because the crystal is the ultimate objective of this game, the enemy just wants to kill your crystal. You see that right there? That's all that the enemy wants, is to murder your crystal. And so the enemy does play intelligently in this game. I'll give you an example. I was fighting against a bunch of Tyranid-style bugs, and said Tyranid-style bugs, they have an explosion ability where they can run up and tick-tock blow up. Every single bug ran straight for my crystal and went to detonate and one-shotted my crystal in one turn because I didn't have enough abilities to get them out there. Like, the AI plays viciously well in this game. Like, it knows what utilities it has available to itself, and it will not hesitate to use them. Let's just fire an arrow right there because it makes things easier. Melee attacks in this game, they have a movement included inside of them. I like that feature very, very much, because if they didn't have that, you would probably spend a lot of time in this game just chasing around mobs and whatnot. Is that going to kill him? All right, let's finish him off. We took a little bit of a scuffing right there, and we're not going to heal in between battles, but it is what it is. I've gotten used to my characters berating me after the fight for not playing very well. When a dog has a skill, performs a quick step, adding 20% damage for 2 turns, so he leveled up. So we've got the option for Hunter's Eye. It's a passive that just raises his accuracy. That's right, we've also got XCOM mechanics in here. Characters can take cover behind things. These are just not pretty environmental designs. They're much more complex than that, but I'll try to talk about it later once it becomes in context relevant. I'll probably just add more accuracy to him so that he can shoot people in cover, but this is kind of nice because our dog does get a big DPS boost from that, and it looks like he gets a free quick step move after every attack. I don't know. I kind of like both. The dog can die, which is always heartbreaking every single time it happens because he doesn't come back. But you can exchange resources to get a new one, although that doesn't really salve the burn of losing your hound. I'll go with 15% accuracy. Now, at the end of the battle, we're going to get run currencies, which is like gold, food, beer, wood, herbs, scrap. These are not only currencies for like events and things you're going to go into, they're also reagents for spells and abilities. So it'll become real apparent when you start running the druid in your party. The druid needs loads of leaves and loads of wood. Otherwise, the druid is just functionally useless. But we don't have the druid in here right now, so we don't have to worry about it too much. I'll probably take... We've got enough food. I'll take the scrap because our hunter, every time he throws a trap, he needs to have scrap in our inventory. Otherwise, it's not going to throw properly. The big choice we have to make right now is if we want to go for an elite fight. I don't know if I do while I'm introducing the game to you guys. I'll probably just cut... Let's go south. It'll be a little bit more interesting going south because we've got events and things that happen inside of here that'll show off the narrative side of the game. And I would like to show off some of the little narrative things that can happen on your run. Something about this place gives me the chills. We can cross the fence and venture into the unknown, or we can leave the graveyard. Well, the leader of our party is a shirtless guy with his man boobies and beer keg gut hanging out that enjoys punching people in the face. He doesn't strike me in roleplay terms as being the kind of guy that goes around. I don't know, he's got a very Don Fry-esque thing going on right now, so obviously we have to find out what's in there. Exactly, I agree with you. It's probably going to be a bunch of zombies. Oh, it's bandits robbing graves. Okay. Well, let's take a look at what we've got here. It's foggy. That kind of sucks. So there will be weather modifiers on the battle as well. Weather modifiers are going to make different things happen. So if it's raining, lightning spells hit like a truck. If it's foggy, you can't see the enemy's HP or what they're intending on doing, which makes these fights very dangerous. We kind of need to clinch this fast. Otherwise, it's going to backfire on us. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to open up pretty strong on this guy that's right in front of us. My dog can only move a straight line to get to him, so instead I'll soften him up a little bit more with a laser crystal. Then we're going to go with a charge right here, and we're going to ping-pong him into that grave. I was hoping that would murderficate him, but it did not. These things also provide cover in this game if your characters are behind them. Enemies get like a minus 40% chance to hit as long as you've got this little eyeball icon right here above your head, and they don't go around. Every object in this game also has an elemental affinity, so like the gravestones, those are made out of stone. These ones right here are made out of wood. This bush with barrels in it is made out of wood. That'll be important later on in the game because not only do you have reagent requirements to some of your spells, some spells can only be casted on an object to get the source material you need. So if you want to shotgun pebbles in a cone at somebody, well, you've got to have things that are made out of rock on the map. And so it's one of those things to pay it. There we go. That killed him off. Now we don't have to worry about it. I am a tiny bit worried about this archer guy, but we do have a lot of movement. He may try to kill my dog. I probably shouldn't have done that. He's going to notice my dog has the lowest HP. Oh, no, he poisoned his weapon. Okay, well, that works out. You've got a death laser. I think that's a really good idea to drop on him. So let's go ahead and death laser this dork. Yup. Spell effects in this game are quite good, by the way, if you hadn't noticed. I really like the spell effects in this game. Oh, he's dead already. Sweet, dude. We pretty much, made it through that one without taking any damage. The perfect kind of fight. We've got a level up on our wizard. He can get focus. All of your attacks have 30% damage and shred armor, too, for this turn. That's not bad. It costs us a green point. He can also do arcane explosion. But Arcane Explosion, I got a bad feeling that can hit my own party members, so I'm going to take Focus. We got 4 gold, 2 crystals, a little bit of Strands of Time, and then we've got a Skill Elixir. That's a nice pickup. I'm going to take the wood right here. Wood's going to be important for when we're camping. Whatever they were after, I'd rather not know. Let's move. All right, down to the next point. Oh, I forgot to use my Skill Elixir. I hope this isn't a fight. It's a fight. What are those? Scarecrows? Get a closer look. Well, look who's up and itching for a scrap. The townsfolk are being slowly corrupted and turned into zombies. We haven't talked about the corruption mechanics yet in this game, but they most assuredly do exist. I've got to decide what I want to do here because we're outnumbered and my cooldowns are not up. I don't need to shred armor, so I don't think I need to play with that, but what I can do is I can Vital Link these two together so that they share damage. I think that's a really good play. And then if I blast him, you'll see they all take damage, which is always a nice thing to have around because we're killing 2 enemies at once. 2 birds with one of the old stones. Is there any way I can finagle that into making them hit each other? I can split them up a little bit, and I can make her hit the wall right there, which will kill her. But what I was... Oh, that'll do it. Get him. Good stuff. You send out your dog to finish her off. I can't bring the dog back right now, so I'll probably just flick an arrow off in that direction. These guys actually have deceptively long movement, so they may get my dog. Oh, she's going after the big guy. All right. And because they're zombies, when we get hit, it's going to build up our blight meter. However, closing the gap with him is a terrible idea because the big struggle that he has throughout this entire game is just that he's slow and has trouble getting to the enemy. If he does manage to get to the enemy, though, he tends to deal a lot of damage. I think I'll probably go... So I can't run that and also that at the same time. I'm going to run a telekinesis on you to scoot you over to there so that I'm not blocking your line of sight anymore. Don't think he's got much else that he can do. I can send the dog in to bite him, but it's going to leave him a little weak. Part of me thinks that I want to put a trap right there. I'm going to try it. It may work, it may not. Bring the dog back over here too. It worked! I didn't expect him to walk into the trap, but hey, if it saves me from taking any damage, I'm totally happy with it. I would recommend taking every combat you possibly can in this game, and we've got our first equipment offer. We've got the Antique Locket, which gives us 20% dodge, or we can get Cowhide Wear. It does change the armor on your character, and there are many different appearances that I've seen so far. The Locket, to me, seems like a 20% chance to dodge is not inconsequential as far as stat maxing goes. I'm going to take the wood on that one, and now we're going to rest for our first night. So if you play Darkest Dungeon, resting is exactly what you expect it to be. Everybody's going to eat some food so long as you have it, and then from there, everybody's got abilities that they can use to heal each other up and increase your chances of being successful in future battles. We've also got an ambush chance up here. You can banish that by adding more wood to the fire, and it does increase the light radius and make this entire menu brighter when you do it, which is a very nice detail. Like I said, everything that has to do with the artistry and the overall assemblage of this game is done very well. It's a good feeling game to play where every little detail has kind of been looked after. I'm going to have my crystal use my free action to heal my dog. From there, we're going to have the dog lick wounds on the warrior very quickly. We've got 2 AP left. Everybody's in decent shape right now. This is an AoE heal that uses a lot of beer in order to get everybody's health back, and we don't really need to do that. So I think what I'll probably do is I'll make it so that we get rid of our skill warm-up on everybody, because some skills can only be used like a limit break after you've been in combat a certain amount of turns. This means that he can Death Laser Blast on the first turn, which is very useful considering it has no limit to its range. And then I'm also going to Arcane Scout the map to see if we can find any events, and we will go ahead and rest. However, when you rest, you're going to get a little bit corrupted, so keep that in mind. It looks like there's a shortcut over here that'll give us an extra AP when we go to our next campsite, but I will have to skip a shop in order to go after it, and shops are pretty good in this game a lot of the time. I'll probably take the shop instead. Like, I do want to take that right there, but the best of the best, forged with my own hands. Take your pick. So we got a blacksmith. We can give him 1 extra AP, which is really good. That's on sale. All damage is piercing damage. Does that mean all of my shots go through the enemy? That would be pretty cool. We've got 20% damage, and if he's in the shadow of an object, he gets 20% dodge. You know, to me, the extra AP is just indispensable. I'm going to take it straight off the rip. And then from there, do I have anything to sell? I still haven't used my skill elixir. I'm a dummy. Okay, we'll just leave it at that then, because I want to save a little bit of money for the next shop, too. Let's go to our party management, and I think having you dodgy is probably the smartest idea, just due to the fact that you're usually in the thick of it, which makes you an easy target. I think what I'd like to do is, nobody really has any crazy skills right now that I want to upgrade, but I will give you the hand wraps. That way you've got your extra AP, because that's going to be enormous. Like, more action economy is good, because as we get further into the game, the enemy is also going to have way more action economy, and it's going to be a little bit of a headache. I will upgrade one of your abilities. Oh, piercing damage means that it ignores armor. Okay, there's abilities in this game that pierce through enemies, and so I thought that's what it meant. Alright, well, we can upgrade his headbutt to do 10 damage, and it's a free action, which is kind of wild. I use the charge the most, though, so, like, it may not be a bad idea to hit them with a stronger charge. Let's upgrade headbutt, dude. Headbutting is the manliest Dawn Fry thing that he could do right now. Nothing shuts down an argument like the clack from a headbutt. And we're going to diverge up this way, and we're going to come around before we get to the boss and see if we can make this thing happen. It seems these wolves have no interest in friendship. Is that a thing that you expect? There's a hole right there? We probably don't want to get knocked into that. Alright, well, he's got telekinesis. We may be able to throw a wolf into the hole. Yeah, I mean, that works out great. That's exactly what I was going for. And I'll just shoot a magic missile at him. This right here is an obvious trap deployment, just to force him to go around the other way, so I'm cool with that. You move up maybe, well, no, you give him a little bait down here. Yeah, just give him a little bait down here. Just bait it up ever so slightly. And then, I don't know if I want the dog to move anywhere. I guess I'll move the dog over to there. And we'll lightning bolt the wolf that's close enough to be lightning bolted. And like clockwork, he walked into the trap, which is going to end his turn. I'm going to keep throwing wolves in crevasses with telekinesis every chance that I get. I hate to be that guy, but grab him right there, and then maybe throw him into him. It's only going to do 2 damage. Okay, never mind. Headbutt him. Ugh, there we go. Yup. Apex masculinity. Death laser. Well, do I want to death laser that wolf? I'm going to death laser that wolf. Wolf has been effectively death lasered. Can you make a shot from right there? You can. Very nice. Okay, well, make your shot from right there. And then you... Oh, he doesn't have any movement. So I want this guy to come down here so I can throw him in the pit again. I think he can make it that far and go bite the wolf? That surprises me. Okay, we'll come back around over here. That's not cooled down yet. So we'll just wait to see what the enemy do. He bites my mage. He bit my mage. Incredibly rude. Just telekinesis that fool into the dark. I don't know why throwing stuff into pits is so entertaining, but it is. We've got ourselves some kind of level up right here. So we get to upgrade a stat for Hubert. I'm going to give him 20% more damage. I'm a big damage guy. And then we've got another skill elixir too. I think we're going to need a little bit more food because we're going to have another campsite before we get to the boss of this round. But let's continue. Do I want to skill upgrade somebody right now? I don't know if I do. Yeah, let's skill upgrade somebody, I guess. So I can make his arrow do 10 damage, which is enormous. I can make his trap do 14 damage, which is pretty huge, too. I think I use his trap the most, so I'm going to upgrade that. That feels like a good pull for me. And then we'll continue on this way. We'll hit that shop right before the boss, and we'll see how this thing plays out. Damn Vexes. Oh, bug fight, huh? I do not like the bug fights. These bugs are the one thing I think need to be adjusted because these dudes right here, I told you, they have that self-destruct thing they do that's just like a nightmare. Throw a trap over there in case he tries to move. I should have shot first, then thrown a trap. I just ended my turn for no reason. You move up here and just punch that one the hell to death. I need to clear out as many angles as I can before we go any further. Can you get there? Can't get there. So I guess just start moving in this direction. I'm going to soul link these two. And just start spreading damage around, I think. And that's going to be my entire turn, huh? Man, we got like nothing done. This may be a really bad thing for us. Move the dog over to there. I'll see if they self-destruct or not. If they do, this is going to suck, though. Okay, bit my dog. Nobody stepped on a trap, which is a little bit of a nightmare. Was really hoping I could get some mileage out of the trap, but nope. No, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more. That one's going to self-destruct. Okay. Let's think about what we want to do here. How far will he fly if I telekinesis him? How long does he have before he blows up? Like his next turn? So telekinesis him over to there. You move out. Call the dog. Yeah, that worked out okay. I can live with that outcome. That outcome's workable. Your mission here is pretty simple. Just punch that bug that held to death before it decides to blow up too. Proud of you, G. And then over on this side, if we can manage another kill on this side, it would be nice, but it doesn't look like we have that option in front of us right now. I did burn my telekinesis, so if these dudes decide to do something gnarly, like all run up on the crystal and self-destruct, this may be the end of our run. Oh, really? Fell off the crystal. Well, I mean, it'll do. The crystal's not looking great, though. Wish the crystal was looking better. I'm gonna need you to buy me, like, a little bit of oomph time here. If you can hit all three of them with the death ray, be highly optimal. That would dig us out of a number of considerable problems right now. And then he's got to move, unfortunately. Otherwise, he can't get that guy. So I guess fall back over to here and kill that bug off. And we got scuffed up pretty good right there. It's a good thing we got a rest phase coming up. We survived barely. Yeah, that's exactly how I would classify that fight. But sometimes the enemy just outnumbers you so much that it's like, well, what can you do? We got a new ability for our crystal, which allows us to spray acid on somebody's face. Generally considered to be ungentlemanly, but times are getting desperate. It's getting hard out here. Okay, so we're definitely going to want to run beer ability over here to give everybody... Oh, we can't give the dog beer? Why not? Dogs love beer, at least if my dog is any proof of that. I need 3 leaves in order to do the big heal, but I can have him heal himself for free, so he'll regenerate a little bit. I'm going to have him lick wounds on himself just to keep him up for a little bit, because I'm still going to need him going forward into future fights. I'm going to throw some firewood in there just to avoid any potential future conflicts. And then maybe I'll reduce the skill cooldown on everything. That way we can all just use it instantly from the beginning of the fight. May work out, may not, but we got a boss fight coming up. So I'm trying to like consider these things as we mosey along throughout the map space. There's a glimmer in the grass ahead. It could be treasure or a trap. Search for interesting items? More bugs. We knew this was happening, yet here we stand. Quit whining, blade up. Oh, good, they're hastened, too. That's an explodo bug right there, and anything that's inside the bushes is hard to hit with ranged attacks. That's mostly going to apply to us because we have all the ranged attacks and they don't. I can get up to there, but I don't know if it's wise just yet. If you can laser down a couple things like so, it would help me decide what I would like to do next. What do I have left here? You walk up and punch him. There is like a trinket you can get that gives you like a small half move every single time you attack. Such a great trinket in this game because you can run out, smack a guy, and then fall back halfways and like bait out their turn. One of the best feelings ever. He's still got all of his turn economy left, but it's debatable what we want to do with it. Let's just kill that bug right there because these guys, they have like an acid thing that they do, but I don't know if I want to stress about it just yet. You get in behind the rocks over here, leave the dog where he's at, and then we can't really reach anything with that right there, so we're just got to wait and see what the enemy does. I was going to say, I don't recall those having like a ginormous amount of movement, but I can charge him back into the bushes, or potentially I could walk up and grab this dude, and then maybe throw him into that dude. Let's start off right here. And then I think I will throw a trap, kind of just inconspicuously right there, and then I'll bring the dog back around with me. I'm going to telekinetic link these two together. Nope, not telekinesis. There we go. Vital link. Link those two together. And he is going to explode when he dies. That'll do it. I found the angle. Hell yeah, dude. I knew the angle was in there somewhere. I just didn't know how to get to it. That'll work. He has unfortunately dodged my trap, which I'm not a massive fan of. But let's give him like a double thwack over here. And we're going to need to finish him off with a ranged attack just due to the fact that he blows up. So let's move over to here. And then we'll ranged attack him before his acid does any more damage. And we're going into the boss fight a little beat up right now. We could be in a little bit better of shape. We did get, so for 2 turns, heal 1 to all allies in range at the end of the turn. I will give a healing aura because I'm planning on headbutting a lot going forward. I've found my addiction, and my addiction is called I like headbutting you in the face. Let's go over to here. We've got the time traveler. Ayanur. There will be little events and things that happen while you're walking along the roads. She's more than likely going to give us a relic. Greetings, traveler. I really admire Xander for the unwavering faith he puts in the heroes that he picks. Don't succumb. Eventually, you're going to succeed. Have this and good luck. So we can get 10% damage on our hunter, or we can get +1 AP on our arcanist. Yeah, I'll take that for sure. Sometimes the little button down here is bugged. It's still there, so the little equipment menu that allows you to change equipment, sometimes it doesn't appear. Just click the same spot, and I promise you, it's actually there. We'll give him the robe so that he's got another AP. That's really great for us, because that means he can fire out like a normal action and then also Death Ray in the same turn, which I think is going to be a big help. So at this shop over on this side, we can get a hastened crossbow for half price. For our hunter, that would be good. 15% more dodge right there. We can get the holy book. Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to take the crossbow. The crossbow is what we want straight off the rip. I'm probably going to need some more leaves, too. And then I have enough money for the 15% dodge trinket, so I'll take it. With 15% dodge up in here, I will more than likely, let's swap that in, and we'll give that to you. And it's boss time. Let's run it. I was waiting for you. I nearly gave up hope you'd survive the walk, so many of you, but it won't matter. I need y'all gone. You always ruin everything. Regret? I mean, you'll be the ones regretting your existence after I'm done with you. Okay, so this guy can be a little bit of a headache. I don't know if he started out with armor this time, but he's starting out with a charge, which means that we want to layer some damage on this guy first and foremost. Let's run a focus right here on yourself. And so he's now arcane focus for 30% more damage. We're going to open with a death ray. Actually, do I want to open with the death ray? Does he have armor? He does have armor. All right, so we're going to want to melt that armor off. There we go, so that we get more damage out of it. We're going to death ray him. Perfect. I love the animated health bar too. Good stuff. And then we're going to throw a trap. Nope, we're going to shoot him first. Then we're going to throw a trap. I make this mistake over and over and over again. But here we are. You step back over to here to protect my dog. And then if I can grab him, that would be magnificent. Go ahead and grab that fool up. Headbutt, son. What you want to do with me? Oh, you want another one? Bow! Can you imagine being a villager inside of a village watching the final fight for the fate of the earth? A demon the size of like a Peterbilt truck shows up, and this dude with his beard and his slick back hair walks up and headbutts it twice in the face. I'd be amped. I'd be like, that's my dude right there. That's my dude. All right, I think that's our turn. Let's let him do his worst here. He had to use an AP to break away from my guy's grab. And then he death rayed my dog. Oh, and then he threw him face first into the wall. Filthy, bro. Absolutely filthy. I will have revengeance for my dog, dude. There is no way around it. I will have my revengeance. Can you grab him and cancel that? You can't grab him and cancel it, but what you can do is you can headbutt him in the face, survive with 1 HP, and then I can hit him with a magic missile. And then I can hit him with that right there, and we can be victorious with 1 HP left on my fighter. That's what we can do. So my thoughts on this one are pretty short and sweet. This was an easy one to come to conclusions on because I think the game's good. I think it's a viciously tough little tactical game with some great visuals, some real thinky moments that are going to stretch out your gray matter. Like, you're going to have to put on your big brain hat from time to time with this game because you're frequently outnumbered and outmatched, so using your abilities to their maximum output is going to be a necessity here. Just like in the last spell, which I think this game is very similar to in just a general framework sense, in the way that it has its difficulty arranged. The characters are diverse, they're interesting, there's so many ways that all the mechanics loop around from abilities to items to just your currencies and connect with other mechanics that I can't help but like it. This is clearly a game that somebody put a lot of thought into and made a flowchart of how all the things in the game should intermingle and interconnect. That's good. That makes for a satisfying gameplay experience. Full marks on the gameplay front from me. Points of friction that I noticed along the way. This is a hard-gated roguelite. You're only going to make it so far without getting more unlocks and powering up. At the beginning of the game, when your runs are shorter, that means that your meta progress is going to be slower as well, and the ways to speed up the meta game are all kind of gated behind other meta, making you stronger to get longer runs so that you can get more meta currency. Some people don't like that, so I figured I'd just bring it up here. This is a viciously difficult game, so don't go into this one expecting a cozy experience. This game is very much akin to the last spell, Darkest Dungeon. This is a game that is trying to beat the Christ out of you at any given moment, and so if you're predisposed to getting frustrated about a game showing you a very real difficulty curve, I don't think this will be a good matchup for your personality. The soundtrack does not match the gameplay. It's just some guy strumming around on the bass. That's the entire soundtrack, is just some guy doing on a bass guitar. I would actually replace it with a real fantasy soundtrack for the game if it sells well enough. There's plenty of different sort of royalty-free things out there that would also act as a good supplement that match up with what's going on thematically inside of the game. There were occasional visual bugs, but none of them affected the gameplay in any way. And then there were some typos that I spotted here and there that need to be fixed. But by and large, I think this is a really solid start to a diverse little RPG-infused roguelite early access. It boasts like a lot of ways that the game can change around. I found the metagame upgrades to be interesting on each run, from new characters to try out, new equipment, fat boost to the amount of movement, damage, stuff like that I get, new spells for my shards. The randomization of the game when it comes to leveling up means that every run is going to feel a little bit different with how your characters develop, and that just makes the game feel robust, like it makes you want to go back for another run. So this one's a tough one to put down, and that's always a good sign. But there was one thing that I wanted to bring up. I completely and totally in this video forgot about the fact that you can get a move attack on your ranged characters too. So like, I get scatterbrain when I'm recording because all of my mental brain like bandwidth goes towards doing dialogue nonstop and just observing things going on. So I don't play that well, but for those of you that are ranged fans in this title, I never brought it up in the video, but ranged characters do get a free move with their attack as well. I just didn't use it the entire video because you gotta hold down the control key and it completely slipped my mind. And so I could have had some better plays out there, but either way, very, very addicting game. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, it was Blightstone. Tomorrow to be something else. Take care, folks, and that's all I got for you.